Hi guys, this is Valerie. In this video we're gonna share our perfect Prague 3-day itinerary. This is how we people who live and guide in Prague would spend 3 days here. Feel free to combine these activities however you like. We will present it in an order that makes most sense to us. If you're visiting Prague on a weekend or in summer, this video is a must watch because Prague is an extremely popular getaway destination and your vacation might turn into an elbow shuffling fest. So stick around to get some tips on how to beat the crowds and get the most out of your trip. Sorry for sounding like the broken record, but the very first thing we recommend doing on your day 1 in Prague is heading to Charles Bridge as early as you can, ideally at 7 AM or 8 AM. Not just because it's very pretty and great for photos, but also because during the day this bridge turns into a sequel to Human Centipede. So get those pictures and soak in the atmosphere of the oldest bridge in Prague as early as you can. You don't have to do it on your first day, but you'll probably have more energy to wake up early. Before exploring further, let's get some breakfast. When it comes to Czech breakfast, the traditional one is rohlík wrapped in a slice of cheese eaten while you're running for a tram. But they don't serve breakfast like that anywhere. Breakfasts in cafes are pretty standard. Eggs, pancakes, sandwiches, etc. Not every cafe will serve breakfast, but those that do usually open at 9 AM. An average price for a breakfast like this one is 250 crowns. You might notice that the prices rose a little bit since the last itinerary video we made. Just making sure you know that when someone charges you 90 crowns for a cappuccino, they're not ripping you off. I mean, they are, but it is an official legal rip-off now. We can divide Prague Historical City Center into two parts, the right and the left side of the river. Your main focus on your first day should be the old town of Prague because it's the most touristy and the busiest area. So you want to start exploring it ideally before 11 AM. Right now it's 10 AM and you can see how busy it is, but trust me, it will be much worse later. The main things you need to see here are Old Town Square, astronomical clock, and teen church. Do it as early as you can, ideally before 10 AM. After 10, you can wander around more. You can see Estates Theatre, Powder Gate, and Havel's Market. Most unorthodox travel guides seem to push the idea that the old town is overrated, but I disagree. There are a lot of cool and interesting places in the old town. We made a video about 30 of them. I think if you can get away from the royal way, you will find unique and picturesque places. For example, if you head to this area, you'll be walking down the iconic winding streets of the old town, with significantly less people. Every time I come here, I always find something new and interesting. Or visit places that I already know and like this tiny house. You must be tired from all that walking around the old town and it's time for lunch. And guess what? We already made a video which traditional Czech dishes you should try when you visit Prague. You can check it out over here. The two dishes that you can start with are svíčková and goulash. They're the most typical ones. They should have them in every self-respecting Czech restaurant. When you are a blogger and you go to a restaurant and they recognize you, they of course will treat you nicer than just maybe average customer, especially if you're a blogger with a lot of subscribers like me. No, I'm joking. We just want to make sure that you guys have the best experience, and we know that if we go somewhere and they know that we are making videos, they might treat us differently. So that's why we always recommend reading reviews and doing your own research. After lunch, another area in the old town you can check out is the Jewish Quarter, where you have to find the statue of Franz Kafka and the old new synagogue. If you're planning to visit the synagogues and the old Jewish cemetery in the Jewish museums of Prague, you might be done with sightseeing for your first day, because it will take you around 3 to 4 hours to see everything, and they do close around 6 PM. If the weather is not as nice as it is today and you're looking for another indoor activity option, we've done the whole video about it called How to Spend Your Rainy Day in Prague. If we could recommend just one place to go, we would recommend the National Museum. It is enormous and it will also give you a great perspective on the historical sites you've seen today, as well as Czech culture. And if you don't want to spend your afternoon indoors because it's sunny and warm, we have another option for you. Follow me. You can explore Prague Islands. such as the Archer's Island, where you can get right from the bridge by an elevator. This is a great place for grabbing a coffee or lemonade and having a picnic. What I don't recommend is feeding nutrias. As it turns out, they spread dangerous diseases and do more damage to the environment than we've expected. But obviously some people are completely enamored with them. It's good that Czech healthcare is somewhat affordable. Another island you can check out is Žofín Island. Here you can rent a paddle boat. For dinner on your first day, we recommend looking at the restaurants in this area, and you will have a wide variety of options. After your dinner, you should still get some drinks next to the riverbank. You can check out this place. This is where we filmed the intro for our today's video. It's called Chapadlo. You can also go to Naplavka. It is a really fun place in summer. They have a lot of boats with bars on them. The bars here close at around 10 p.m. and that's when I'm already in bed. But if you want to hit the bars and clubs after that, there are a lot of cool bars in the new town area, or you can go to Dlouhá Street in the old town. By the way, guys, if you are going to be looking for a place to dance, don't look for a nightclub, because nightclub means strip club in the Czech Republic. Look for just a club. You're welcome. The land of great beer and amazing wine rarely gives you a chance to have a non-hangover second day. But we are here and we have a lot to do, because today we're going to be exploring Prague Castle and the lesser town, aka Malá Strana. Prague Castle is an extremely touristy place, but especially it is busy between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. So we are going to go there after lunch. Today's itinerary is going to be slightly different to yesterday's, because it is not going to be as flexible. When we looked at all the sites we wanted to include into the second day, we could only think of one route that would make sense and would be kind of easy to cover. And finally, you might have noticed that today the weather is different, and it's not because we are filming those 2 days 1 week apart. It is actually the next day for us, but the weather changed overnight, and today it might be raining, but it's okay because it's only a good challenge for us. We will start our second day exploration at Újezd. Have a look at the memorial to the victims of communism, to the opening of which they forgot to invite the first Czech president Václav Havel. Awkward. Then you can walk up this hill. Joking. Just get on the funicular if there is no line. Remember, you will need a validated ticket for the public transit there. As we have shown on our Instagram, the controllers love to find tourists here. Get off at the last stop of the funicular and check out Petrin Tower. There you can enjoy a panoramic view of Prague city center. After that, you can wander around in Petrin Park or take a shortcut straight to Strahov Monastery, our next stop. There you can get some lunch or some beer. You might need it to cure your hangover. There are lots of things to do at the Strahov Monastery. You can, for example, visit one of the most beautiful libraries in Europe. You can check out the view from Strahov Monastery. Once you are done with the monastery, take these stairs to Pohořelec. Then walk to Loretta Square. Here you can see the famous, humongous Černín Palace and Loretta Church, where you can go, especially if you're interested in pilgrimage sites, but you will need a ticket for that. A free activity around here is exploring Nový Svět. Nový Svět is the former slums of the Prague Castle. Nový Svět was once nicknamed Prague's Montmartre because it was home to many Czech artists. From Nový Svět, let's walk to Hradčany Square. We made it to Hradčany Square. As you can see, there are many beautiful palaces. Most of them are picture galleries nowadays that you can also visit, but actually we don't have time for that because we have to go see the castle. Before that though, if you're hungry, which probably you are, it's better to eat before you enter the Prague Castle complex, because there you don't have a lot of options. So all the restaurants are located around here. I mean, there's Kuchyň that you probably heard about before. It's a little bit more expensive, but if you go slightly downhill over there, you'll find a lot more restaurants at Nerudova Street. So we recommend having your lunch before you enter the castle. And of course, I will just remind you that you will need to make reservations if you are visiting in summer or on a weekend, because most of these places are booked out for lunch. So now we will enter the castle. You will also notice that there are no checkpoints. They've been cancelled since the last time we made a video about Prague Castle, which is great news for us. So we will not be wasting any time standing in the line. Let's go. After entering the castle, walk through the Bastion Gardens into the second courtyard. We made it to the second courtyard of the Prague Castle, and here we have to make an important decision whether or not we want to visit the interiors of the Prague Castle. This is one of the most common questions we are asked on the castle tour, if it's worth it to buy a ticket to the castle interiors or not. I'll put it this way: if you want to see the back of St. Vitus Cathedral, where St. Wenceslas and St. John of Nepomuk are buried, or if you want to visit the exhibitions at the Golden Lane or see the Vladislav Hall, it is worth it for you to buy the ticket. It is 250 crowns per person, and it will take you around 3 hours to see the castle. But if the sites that I just named don't sound particularly interesting to you, I don't think you should get the ticket to the interiors. Either way, we'll be continuing to the third courtyard. Let's go. Here it is, one of the most photographed places in Prague, and you can see why. Here we can still peek at the St. George's Basilica and the old royal palace. And then come back and take these stairs to Southern Gardens. And from here we can actually see our next area we are going to be exploring, which is the lesser town, aka Malá Strana. And we can take these steps to get there. If you have seen our old video about Malá Strana, you know it has enough of cool sites to dedicate your whole day to. But must-sees for you today are Waldstein Garden, especially if you visit from April to October when the gardens are open. They're absolutely magical. You will see peacocks and koi fish there. And if you're visiting Prague in wintertime, you can swap these gardens for the St. Nicholas Church, but bear in mind there is an entrance fee. And of course, if you're visiting the lesser town, you absolutely have to see the John Lennon Wall. It is one of the most famous monuments to the freedom of speech and the fight against communism in this country. And Kampa Island, where you can grab a drink, relax, or just collapse to the grass because of exhaustion. Regarding our dinner recommendations for the end of the second day, you can stay in the lesser town area, but just be aware that prices here are a little bit higher. The closest place where you can go for a cheaper meal is Smíchov. We have done a video about this neighborhood, and it's just 5 minutes away from here by tram. If you still have energy in the end of your second day, I admire you. I don't. I will just go home and sleep. If you are not like me, you can also check out Letna Park, because they have a huge beer garden there and you can go there for a drink. They close at around 11. After that, if you still want to go party, I can't believe you, but you can check out Cross Club. Yeah, still in the same kind of area. You guys, it is day 3 of our exploration. I know you must be exhausted. I am certainly. I barely could get out of bed. But we are here, and because you might be a little bit tired, we will give you just one big activity to do, and the rest will be our suggestions. The only area of the Prague's historical city center that we haven't explored yet is Vyšehrad. It is a former castle and a fortress, basically a huge park. You can go there for a walk for around 2 hours. It has one of the most beautiful views of Prague, and you will certainly enjoy it. There are also a couple of coffee places where you can have breakfast, so you can even start your morning there. After Vyšehrad, if you still have some energy left to explore, you can visit one of Prague's many beautiful neighborhoods. The one that will make sense for you logically to visit after Vyšehrad is probably the new town. This is where we are right now. The biggest sites of the new town are the Dancing House, Wenceslas Square, the rotating head of Franz Kafka, the memorial of victims of Heydrich's terror, and the anthropoid operation. If you are looking for a more residential, calm area to explore, you can head out to Vyšehrady. They have a lot of beautiful parks and coffee places and restaurants. If you are looking for something more bohemian and edgy, you can go to Žižkov. This is where the TV tower of Prague is located. And if you want something more artistic and hipster, you can head out to Holešovice. Holešovice has a lot of art galleries and a lot of cool cafes. And the last thing I would like to mention on this itinerary is shopping. For mass market brands and in general famous brands, the best place to go for you is in the city center. It's called Na Příkopě Street, and also Palladium Shopping Mall. They have a big variety of stores there. If you have more time, you can head to the biggest shopping mall in the Czech Republic. It's called Chodov. It will take you around 20 minutes to get there by metro from the city center, but I think it's worth it. And yeah, this shopping mall is enormous. You can get lost there. Sometimes people fall asleep there. Okay guys, I think that's it for me. Let us know if you have any suggestions for our 3-day itinerary. Maybe you've been to Prague and you would like to add something. Like this video if it was helpful and share it with your traveling buddies or with your friends who are gonna visit Prague in the near future. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in our next one. Bye!
Hi. Are you Valerie?
Yes?
I'm watching.
No problem, we're done.